How's it going, Michigan fans? I got another video for you. This time we want to talk about Michigan's performance against Florida, the defense on the defensive side, and also the defense going forward for the rest of the year. Okay, so we know for one, Michigan dominated Florida on defense all game. Florida really didn't have anything going at all. It was just typical Don Brown defense, fast, flying around, pressure on the quarterback all game. And it was just a great defensive performance. Shout out to Don Brown. And Harbaugh, we got to give it up to Harbaugh also because he just put together a great staff. He never settles. If he can get the best coaches, he's going to get them. And it's just a great staff. So, all right, let's get into it. Okay, let's run down some of the numbers. Third down, Michigan was 2 of 13. Fourth down, 1 of 2. Florida had 6 punts, 5 fumbles, 3 lost, which is big. That just tells you how physical and how fast that defense is. 6 sacks, which we already know we were going to have a great D-line, and they showed up. And 11 rushing yards. The passing yards, they had to pass, so they couldn't run it, so they had like 80 passing yards, and they probably wouldn't have had that much. They got a couple big plays, but for the most part, they couldn't do anything. It was just a great defensive performance, A+. But I want to talk about the D-line. Let's just start with the D-line. The D-line in the front 7 is it's lights out. That's all I can say. You got Moan, Hurst, Gary, and what's the other guy's name? Winovich. I want to get it right here. Yeah, Winovich. Okay. So yeah, those dudes are flying around, plugging all game. Devin Bush is looking like the best linebacker we've had since maybe David Harris. For you Michigan fans, we know David Harris. Great linebacker. Went on to have a good NFL career. Just one of those linebackers that plays sideline to sideline, can get into coverage. Just a great linebacker. You can count on him for everything. He doesn't have any weaknesses. And Bush is looking like one of those guys. The way he was coming on those blitzes and playing sideline to sideline, it's just thank you Harbaugh for getting these recruits that we need to just get back to Michigan football. It's so great to see speed. It's one thing to have a good defense with like last year. We had a good number 1 defense, but the overall speed, it just wasn't there. And it showed up sometimes in the Ohio State game when you'd have JT Barrett getting out the pocket and running, and he's just running for yards. Nobody could kind of catch him. He'd get behind. Even Peppers, end of the game, Peppers was chasing him, and he couldn't catch him. So it's one thing to have a couple guys that are fast and can move, but it's another thing to have secondary that's fast, linebackers that are fast, D linemen that are fast. So it just makes that defense that much better. So I'm loving what I'm seeing out of the defense. I'm just really excited because those boys are flying around from every position, and every time you see a tackle, they're gang tackling, and it's just something beautiful to see. So for the most part, there's not too much to say about the defense, but it's the first game, and we know Florida, they haven't had a good quarterback in who knows how long, but hey, it is what it is. You set them up, you knock them down. Like my boy Woodson said, he make big plays, and that's it. Everybody else doing the talking. Florida was doing the talking. We did the walking. So that's all I want to say about that for the most part. But let's see. The secondary looked good. And a good secondary, which is young, can also be helped by a strong front seven, in which we have a strong front seven. So if a guy's trying to make a 3-step drop, 5-step drop, he doesn't have time to go through his reads. 1 second, 2 second, 2 seconds. He's got to get out of there, run, and the play's over. So if you got a guy that can move around, he might scramble and get out the pocket and maybe make a throw, but you can't count on that every time because the defense is just too fast. You're not going to be able to scramble around all the time. If you do, you might get your head taken off with this defense because they're just that physical and that fast. So, but let's see. We had Long got hurt or was injured. Then the senior came in. Let me see exactly what his name is. Let's see. The senior came in. Let's see. Watson. Brandon Watson came in. He may start next game even if Long is healthy because he was looking good. I'm sorry, but he was looking good. I like that. When you got somebody that's not a starter, but they come in, they're getting thrown on, he's knocking down passes, he's flying up on the run. Like, I like that. I love to see a defense that's coached all the way from the top to the bottom. When you got guys that aren't starting, they come in and they don't miss a beat. And it's just a blessing. It's a blessing to see this. I'm so happy right now for that defense because everybody we play is going to have it in. And with the fumbles, and that's one thing I love too about defensive players. Like, when you get a free shot at the quarterback, don't just sack him. Go for the ball. We want the ball. We want points. So I believe it was Winovich that got that strip sack, and we got the touchdown off of it. So you always want a defense that can create points. I mean, the game was over at the time, but who cares? They were still playing, so we still gonna knock them out, set them up, knock them down. But I really like that play because I always see players that get sacks and the quarterback's not even looking. If the quarterback's not looking, get the ball. Go for the ball. Like, that's the main thing. So shout out to him for just knowing, hey, I got the chance to get a free shot and I'm going to go get the ball out too. So that's a big play. And just the total defense, the physicality is up a notch. It's not just the speed, it's the physicality. And that defense is physical. Like, from Bush, then you got Gary and these boys and the safeties. Like, they're all coming up. And this is one thing about a good defense. And it sometimes it will cost you injuries, but you get more fumbles and just way more big hits. Sometimes you got to come up and just clean up your teammate and the ball carrier. I mean, it happens. Like, one of the great defenses in the NFL, the Seattle Seahawks. If you watch them the last couple years and even that Super Bowl year, when they would get tackles, you would see dudes flying up, just knocking the other defender that's already there and the ball carrier out. You to just be physical, you have to play like that if you want to get fumbles and just set a tone that this is going to be one of the longest games of your life. Like, you have to just come up and lay your own teammates out, right? It's just kind of the cost of doing business and friendly fire. It just happens. But I'm just happy with the defense overall. You can't really say anything bad about that game. And we'll see what Cincinnati has. But it's not likely we're going to play another team that can actually do something on us and poses a real threat until I think Penn State's the first game that we play where someone will be a real threat. But I just wanted to make a video, talk about the defense real quick, and just show those boys some love from Bush, Harris, Hudson, Watson. Those boys are playing fast, physical, and they got a chip on their shoulder. Like, the defense has a chip on their shoulder because everybody said we lost 10 starters on defense, not knowing that we played most of the backups. So, but that's a long story short because most of us Michigan fans already knew that anyway. So just wanted to make a video about the defense real quick against Florida and for the season coming ahead. Hey, it's going to be a long season for anybody that has to play Michigan. because that defense is coming. So, signing out again, it's your boy, Michigan, all day, every day. Go Blue.